man, I was reviewing the upcoming TPO series, and my God, like, I just feel that everyone's just gonna be like having this like this like moment where everything just clicks into place and everything just makes sense. And I even think like today's episode is gonna be like, man, like you don't understand. Like I'm literally so excited for this. Like bringing this content. First of all, I enjoyed making it. Second of all, oh man, I think I'm going to love teaching it. To be honest, I am. Yeah, I'm really excited for tonight and the upcoming TPO videos. I feel it's just like, yeah, I feel it's just gonna literally help so many people and just like make their head explode and like everything fits into place. So make sure you have your pens and papers out for tonight. Get your notepads out, write down as much information as possible, and yeah, let's begin tonight. Just make sure everything's good. Oh, we got lots of people saying it was their first stream tonight as well. For the people that are here on their first stream tonight, you're going to absolutely love it. Then, with that said, high expectations, but you know I'm going to meet those expectations. So let's go. Trade disclaimer as always. We can breeze through that one. Right, so tonight's live stream, we're going to be going over part number 2, balances. Of course, you should have watched last week's stream, really, and make sure you understood that. You obviously, all I will say are prerequisites of understanding tonight's stream is you do have to understand the footprint module and the volume module. Of course, they're very integrated parts of TPO charts, so you really do have to understand that before you understand this, hence why TPO was made after that. So this is what we're going through tonight, and obviously we'll end with a Q&A about tonight's topic. I really want to get really excited and like I need to like keep it down, and I need to keep like talking slow and breathe, otherwise my throat dies. I'm learning the breathing techniques. I need to follow them. So that's the introduction. Now let's begin. So TPO balances, obviously time, price, opportunity balances. So as we were talking about last week, the market moves from balance to imbalance. So our balances are sideways ranges, then you get the impulse moves, which are your imbalances, and then you'll end up forming another range, which is a time of balance, and then you'll form another imbalance. So the market, you can always class it in 2 different stages, and you have to be very you have to know which stage you're in. You know all the daily trading updates where I'll say market is range bound or market is in a trend. Essentially, that means market is in balance or a market is in imbalance. Okay, so your balance is your ranges and your imbalance is your impulses. Just like we do, note out every day for the daily updates. During balance, market agrees on price. So what we mean by this is when you are, when we're going sideways within the range, the market agrees this is a fair value, and obviously something will occur, and that perception of fair value changes, and that's when you go into your imbalanced market and enter a new trend. And obviously above and below the balance is where we look for swing failure patterns or acceptance. So really simply, you've got to know 3 things that when you're trading on a day-to-day basis. Firstly, where that balance is, and we're generally defining balance between the value area low and the value area high. So that is your balance. Now you have a little bit of excess of balance either side now, where you could say, let's say you're in a range between, from $0 to $10 you're trading, and then within that $0 to $10, your value area low is $2, your value area high is $8. Of course, you can go a little bit above the value area high and the low and still remain range bound, and that's why really, when we're talking about acceptance or moves above, you've got to give it that slight bit of leeway either side. But at the end of the day, if we start to see a move above $10 in this made up example, then we're either going to look for acceptance, which again is our volume increases and moving into an imbalance and a new trend, or alternatively a weak break above the value area high per se, or just the range high. Weak break, we obviously mean low, on low delta, decreases of open interest. This is what we would say we'd look for a swing failure pattern. Okay, and so yeah, that's that. I'm just going to minimize this. Yeah, I hate it when I get these errors popping up on YouTube because it always throws me off whether people can still hear. It's really annoying when YouTube does this. I'm going to continue because I got to hope that this is an error on YouTube's half and not my half. It's so distracting when I see that error come up in the corner of my eye. It totally threw me off. Uh, makes me nervous. Um, anyway, so yeah, that's what we're talking about. This is just to really recap on last week. Yeah. So this is then this is what we call a balanced profile on our TPO charts. Okay. So this is our balance profile. Well, we have really, this was funny last week. ST, so this is obviously a bit of a selling tail. This is our little bit of a buying tail. We're going to go in more in depth on how to trade the selling tails and buying tails in a an upcoming part of this series. But for now, we're just going to know what they are and not really know how to trade it. But so just so you're aware, we got the selling tail up here, which is just like our row of single prints. We have our buying tail at the lows. And this is basically a wick. When we're looking at trading view, this would be a wick and this would be a wick. Okay, that's all you need to know for now. And then we obviously form our balanced range. I have got an upcoming video on day types as well. This, just so you know, this is just called a balanced day. So here, a picture perfect balanced day. We see this semicircle. So you can see how this is almost like a semicircle. Pretty much semicircle. Buying tails at the lows, selling tails at the highs, with the majority of volume right in the middle of the day. So when we talk about the day is balanced, this is in TPO world a balanced day where you just have this like really perfect semicircle. And what we can what we take from that is there is a very much an agreement on price. Price is not really spending, but if you try and move up, it got instantly rejected. You try and move down, it got instantly bought back up. All the volume is occurring right in the middle of that range. And this is just like when we talk about our perfect range bound environments, when I'm really excited for this week. Like, I think we can look at Bitcoin at the end today, because my words on Sunday where I am so excited for the week ahead. Today we sit on Wednesday, obviously, because I knew that we had a range bound environment. And here we sit on Wednesday. We've spent the last 3 days in a range. This is a massive 10% range. So it really is beautiful when you can recognize what's going to be happening tomorrow while you're still on today. That's the beauty of recognizing these sort of things. But yeah, here we have our lovely example of a range bound balanced day. Okay, this is the definition of a balanced market during 3 days. Here we can see, really a balanced day. Then you form an inside day, which just means it was literally within the previous day. And this was actually not that long ago. These examples were taken about from a week ago on Bitcoin, where we just had really a balanced profile on the TPO chart, followed by another balanced profile on the TPO chart, followed by another pretty balanced profile on the TPO chart, a little bit of a move down. As you can see, I really love this example. It might be a little bit hard to see on the screen. I kind of apologize for that, but it's just the resolution. If you look here, that you can see the low of the buying tail. Yeah, the low of this buying tail. When you move it along, you actually then finished another buying tail off of this buying tail. So this is really known as like a pretty bullish. And obviously the day does end with another buying tail. You close here, and then what happens is as soon as you open the next day, you get an automatic rally. So it's again, these are theories that are coming up, but just so you can what my idea is, that once we've finished the series, you come back and watch all the videos again, and it all makes sense because you've watched the videos to come. But yeah, just so you can see here, what we had is buying tail, doubled up buying tail, day closes here, automatic rally as soon as that day begins. But this is a definition of like a balanced market during 3 days, where we just have this semicircle, semicircle, semicircle. And then what's the reason? What would be my reasoning of why we saw the 4th day breaking balance and actually seeing a big move to the upside? Well, it was this. It was the fact that, the day prior, we had the buying tail on top of a secondary buying tail, so doubled up buying tails, and then on the open you get an automatic rally on the open. On top of this, we can actually talk about acceptance, because you see here the difference between this buying tail and this selling tail is that you got a row of single prints through this selling tail, and you then got acceptance above it. So you didn't end with a wick, like this one ended with a wick down through buying tail. Here you got a row of single prints and then acceptance. This won't make sense to you now probably, but that's the reasoning of how you can start to see the difference between rejections and acceptance. So obviously when you start to form two rows of your TPO chart. So that's obviously 1 hour of price action.